What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening to the market this far, what you should be watching for as time progresses, and also some very important developments on these charts as we're seeing a big change in different trends. But before I begin the devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500 into the account, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 free stocks, and the offer ends very, very soon. Anyways, when it comes to Tesla, we got this nice double bottom like formation, got this nice looking bottoming formation that was forming here, and we got this nice bounce for a potential breakout that has been forming. Now, with that happening, Tesla breaking this resistance at 198, there's definitely more potential for Tesla to try to push up higher going into the later days. But the thing about this move is that, even though Tesla's been pushing very, very nicely for the first couple of hours, we're not in that phase right now. We've been just consolidating for the last 2.5 hours. There's a very good chance that for the rest of the day, Tesla remains in this consolidation phase, a little bit slower as volume is dropping. But going into the later days, there is potential for this because we established this nice breakout. We might come back down to get our back test and then just continue to push. There is potential for this thing to try to make its way up to at least 205 to 207 if we could try to close or even hold above 200 later on. If we break down, watch 198 is support. If we lose that, our next target is 195. But overall, we got a nice double bottom, nice little push, and it's looking pretty good. For SPY, I just want to mention that SPY right now it's showing some resilience, but I just want to mention that the trend is starting to favor bears a bit more because, first off, we have a head and shoulders. That's very obvious. We have this left shoulder here. We have a head. We have a right shoulder. This is already starting to play out a little bit. And then on top of this, the breakout area from where this is dropping is around 507.1 ish, around this 507 range. I basically marked 507 to 507.5. This is important because SPY could hit this and then reject. So it could just be back testing right now. This could be just a back test and a rejection that could be happening. To turn bullish and for us to invalidate this and at least have some potential to do so, we have to get at least above 508s than 510 for this thing to turn back to bullish. At least 508.5 needs to be broken. Otherwise, we're still kind of in a potential downtrend and this thing is showing some weakness. Now, if you're bearish, you want to see this thing reject right here and come all the way down to, I would say, around 505. This 505 to 505.5 range is going to be key. And if we lose this, watch 503.5. Now, with this head and shoulders, I think that there's a very good chance that a lot of people are going to identify this, and there's a good chance we're going to be seeing a retracement to at least 505. But wait and see if we get this rejection off 507 again, as the chart is showing weakness. And I think there's a very good chance we see more downside. Now, to clarify, I am not saying by any means that this is a crash. I'm not saying SPY is going to crash. I'm not saying that SPY is going to drop 100 points or anything like that. This is just the start of a little pullback, and we'll see what this develops into. I want to make that as clear as possible. For the QQQ, it's the same thing, essentially. So the triple Q has a potential head and shoulders like structure, but you could also kind of interpret this as a diamond reversal. But either way, it's like a topping process. Uh, it's basically kind of like trying to consolidate around 438, and it's not doing a good job at breaking it. It's just trading sideways around that. So there's a very good chance it might come down, but we have to see if we could get a confirmed breakout. So watch resistance at 438. If we break this, I'm going to be watching to see if this thing can get all the way up to this wick right here at 439.25, like around there. If we break that, we could continue to push higher. But if we fail to do so, if we fail to even break 438, because we're kind of struggling to hold above it so far, then we could be looking for a move back down to 436. Now, even if that happens, we're still in this range right here. You guys see this range right here? It's not that bad. If we lose 436, that's when I'm going to turn more bearish, and I'm going to be expecting 434 and 432 basically. We have a gap down there to fill as well from the pre-market a couple of days ago. So I need to see which way it breaks. For now, it's kind of consolidating. I do favor that it might come down thanks to the head and shoulders structure, but just to be safe, we have to see it tank. Now, right now, the QQQ is a lot stronger than SPY, so that's the reason why it's a little bit different. For Nvidia has resistance at 800, and we have support around the 790 to 792 area. Now, what's Nvidia doing? It's very boring. It's just consolidating, going back and forth between 790 and 800, back and forth and back and forth. Now, if you look at the overall topping structure on Nvidia, we have this wick that's being grabbed as a potential topping signal. So it used this wick right here to grab liquidity before it started to come back down. And now it's been consolidating right over here. We have this left shoulder here, the head and the right shoulder. So there's a chance it might end up coming back down. If we lose 790, I would be expecting 770. I think I could see it come all the way down to 776 later. We also have to be watching support at 785. But 776 is a possible target if we do end up getting that break. Right now, it's not doing that. Right now, this thing is consolidating back and forth, back and forth. It might just continue to do so for the rest of the day. But later on, there is a higher probability it does come down from what I'm seeing. But just to be safe, watch. Just to be safe, watch for confirmation, right? Uh, for Aapl, not looking too good, guys. We had a potential inverse head and shoulders like structure. It was trying, and this could have been a trap for retail. A lot of people started buying it up here, hoping it would push up. Instead of pushing up, it failed. So now, excuse me, now we're barely above 181.36. Not looking that good. There's a big, strong rejection here, a big downtrend. We're barely holding 180. So there is a risk of 178 to 180, especially if we continue to lose our current support at 181. But let me just say that it's not the end of the world because this whole year since 2024 started, every time Apple hit 178 to 180, this thing bounced. So we could enter another bounce phase if we get back to that level, but we first have to test below 180 to get there. There is a chance it comes down lower. It's not looking the strongest in my eyes. So we'll see how it goes, but I just want to warn you all that Apple has some weakness. Besides that, Tesla is strong because we had some like really nice news that was coming out involving EVs. For a couple of others, SoFi, it's showing some strength right now alongside other tickers out there. But we're going to be watching this resistance at 8.6. We have a nice bullish structure as it's trying to hit this imbalance. I could see it slowly approaching 9, so it looks pretty good so far. So there is upside potential for it to get up to about 8.7 and 8.75. There's some potential for it. Super micro, looking kind of flat right now. It's just consolidating, not really doing a whole lot. Watch that 900 resistance, 875 as resistance, and for major support, watch 826. It's been just going back and forth, so not much is going on with it. For the Russell 2000, this popped a little bit. We got all the way up to about 201. We're still holding up nicely, but just be a little bit careful if we do see something change. Now, I could see a possible inverse head and shoulders like structure that could bring us a little higher. It does have potential to push up to about 202, but it could reject afterwards. So just be a little bit careful once we hit that resistance. So I would say that it's been range bound. I think it's going to remain range bound for some time. Could be a little pop before it drops lower. For a few others, there's Microsoft. Microsoft has a possible head and shoulders like structure that's developing. Let me actually pull this up on the smaller time frame. The 4 hour does look bearish to me, so I could see this dropping more. But on the 30 minutes time frame, you guys could see this. We have like a head and shoulders. So you have like a left shoulder here, a head and a right shoulder. If we lose 408, expect a bigger drop. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to remain range bound. It's been consolidating. It's been in this range for the last few days. Not last few days, last few hours between 410 and about 408. So whichever way it breaks will determine the bigger move. Most likely 408 will break and we come down though, looking at the pattern. Coinbase is up because of new regulations that came out. It's also helping Bitcoin fly. So we had some bullish news, which is why it's popping. Watch 200. It's looking for 200 right now. It could push even higher. Google is looking relatively weak. We finally got a break from this level. We were talking about if 144 broke, we turned bearish, and we got that break. 138 and then 140 are two areas to watch for. It's going to try to rebound a little bit, could retest 141, but then reject again. So watch for that. And that's it for now, guys. I'm going to call it a day, at least for the time being. Not call it a day. I mean, I'm just going to end the video from here. I'll be back for one more video for the day later on today. But with that being said, make sure you watch your levels. Know that there's a head and shoulders on SPY that's still valid. Most tickers are kind of in the middle. Some are showing some weakness, and we'll just have to see how it goes. But the EVs, like Tesla, are showing lots of strength because of bullish news that came out. So, with that being said, thank you for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys very soon in just a couple of hours. Thank you, and peace out.